clients, and they've been asked, what do you look for from a salesperson? I want to be understood. Well, if they want to be understood, we have to ask questions so we can gain what? Understanding, right? Okay? So, tension too high in a call, what happens? So we get in that pre-close that we talked about, and you say, hey, I'm going to think it over. You say, I want to talk to my wife. Right? I'm going to go, why? Here's where a question might get you in trouble. Why is that?
She makes all the home decisions.
Your wife makes all the home decisions? Are you serious, baby boy?
Yes.
Oh my God. Seriously? So you call her when you buy things? I mean, when you're out? I mean, honey, I need to stop and get some gas. Is that cool? Honey, I need to grab a Snicker bar. Is that cool? Can I get a Coke? Can I smile while I drink it? Is that cool too? Is that how it works in your family?
Okay, screw her. Let's go ahead.
Well, you're easier than I thought you would be. No, I raise attention, obviously. It's none of my business why. It's none of my business why he wants to talk to his wife. Have you ever seen a sales rep go, why would you want to talk to your wife? Because it's none of your damn business, asshole. That's why.
I have.
Right? None of their business.
Who wears the pants in the family?
Yeah, right. Well, that was in the 70s. Right? That worked in the 70s. It could work face to face as long as you're smiling.
Yeah.
And you got a good rapport with them.
Phone with somebody you've never talked to, not a good idea.
Not a good idea, right? What would happen? You'd raise the tension in the call.
Game over.
Right. Game over, because one or two phenomena are going to occur when someone's tension gets really high. Based on their personality. You said what, Leanne? They could hang up, which is a form of flight. They could what? Cuss you out, confrontation, or fight.
Your boss's name.
Yeah. I'm the boss. Talk to me about it.
Exactly.
I'll tell on myself. What do you need to tell me? No, right? Have I raised tension on a call? I have. And every time I've gotten off of a call, I'm like, man, what an idiot I am. I shouldn't have let this person what? Provoke me. They provoked me. Right? It was my fault that I didn't build a solid foundation on the call. I didn't do a proper warm-up. It was my fault that I acted too quickly. I pulled the trigger too quickly, right, before I aimed properly. Right? I raised attention in the call, and fight or flight kicked in. Okay? Keep in mind, it's easier for someone who's confrontational on the call to argue with you. It's face-to-face where the arguments don't happen as much. Why? Depending on who you are. When they see you, and it's a whole different ballgame. Big difference, because you become more intimidating maybe to them, or vice versa. You following me? When physical.
It's easier to hang up than to walk out that door.
That, or it's easier to hang up than punch somebody in the face, or physically, right? Okay? So we don't want to create tension. First of all, I don't want salespeople that, I do want highly competitive salespeople, but I don't want the poor sports. And the poor sports are the one that what? Elevate tension in the call. You follow? That's the cool thing about AJ. He's not a poor sport. He doesn't like to lose, but he doesn't tell people they're assholes or you're an idiot for not buying. You get where I'm coming from? He looks inward, right? For about 2 seconds, and he goes on to his next call. Okay. So we want to keep the tension right here, don't we? No tension at all. Conversation becomes apathetic. Nobody cares. Have you ever been in a group of friends, and you're sitting in the back, and the friend just keeps talking, and you're almost falling asleep? Yeah, that's happened to me. I mean, I've had family, like I'm not going to mention the people, but they just keep talking, and you're sitting in a kind of semi-dark room after eating turkey dinner, and you're like, you're like, oh, and they're like, oh my God, man, they're bitching about the kids today, or the whatever soapbox they're on, and you're like, okay. Anyway, conference calls are another one. How many of you have been in conference calls where the chief guy or whatever gal loves the sound of their own voice, and they can't shut up? They got diarrhea della boca, right? Diarrhea of the mouth. And they just keep talking and talking about shit that they know nothing about, right? Just to make themselves sound like they know what they're talking about. You ever been through one of those? You like put the phone on mute, you're over there jamming on your
Read the paper.
your Guitar Hero.
You know.
John, oh hey, and then what I was saying was, because they say the same shit over and over again, it's like clockwork, right? Okay. Hey, this month's figures.
The puking thing can be exchanged for verbal Vesuvius.
Okay.
A little more polite.
I like it. Can you write that down and keep it? Okay. So I can remember it.
Somebody said it, and I remember it.
Oh, okay, well, pass it on, right?
I didn't
Play
look
it
it up.
forward.
Yeah.
Pay it forward, right? So you guys understand this, the balance, right? But that's through practice. How are we going to be able to balance the conversation? We have to practice this over and over again, right? We have to do the things that John put a warning sign in front of a potential landmine for you guys today. He said, hey, don't handle objections here or concerns. Just what? Note them. Hey, Steve, besides, and then isolate. Isolate. Note and isolate. Hey, Steve, besides Linda, would there be any other reasons why or any other obstacles in the way of a successful partnership?
No.
Okay, great. Appreciate your honesty. It means a lot to me. Hey, what do you look for in a security professional? Hey, what do you look for in a company? That would be the next lead-in. So we have a segue, if you call it, between warm-up and company. And it's the agenda and the pre-close. So when you think about our presentations on Monday for the OneSource brand, there's a warm-up and then there's a segue. Agenda. I'll tell you who OneSource is. I'm going to tell you what we do, how we do it, how we crack the eggs, how we make things. Right? And then you go into the company. So a pre-close. In conclusion, a pre-close means specifically, pre-close, to close before closing. I asked the question, can we get together on a partnership if we meet those conditions that I outlined in the agenda? You said?
I said no, but yes.
You said, probably wouldn't be a problem, but I need to talk to my wife. I said, what is your wife's name? You said, Glenda. So, and I said, great. Besides talking to Glenda, would there be any other reason or any other obstacle in our way for a successful partnership?
I said no.
Excellent. I appreciate your honesty. That means a lot to me. Right? There's a lot of psychological things going on here. That means a lot to me. Then I said what?
If she,
No, no, no.
not yet.
I isolated. I said, great.
Oh, okay.
What are you looking for as it relates to a service provider, a company? Right? When you deal with companies, Mark, what are some of the things that you look for?
Reliability,
Uh-huh.
professionalism.
Reliability, professionalism. Steve, do you think those are some of the same things that Glenda would look for?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I knew her pretty well,
Yeah.
so I married her.
I got you. I remember asking you how long you've been together. You said 8 years. Yeah, absolutely. You tend to know someone after a couple anyway. Oh, you start acting like them after about 7, don't you? Right? Right? Kind of reading one another's mind and crap. It's kind of crazy. Kind of know when they're mad. I kind of know when they're mad when they start throwing shit at me. Man, that tells me right away they're mad, right? But anyway,
Blocking.
yeah, well, you gotta be looking. And stay away from the vindictive ones. They wait till you turn your back and then they yell in the back of your head or something, right?
Could happen.
That never happened to me. I heard about it. Watched it on TV. But, yeah. So what I did there is I started asking about what Glenda would say. So as I go through the entire presentation, what would Glenda's needs be when it comes to the company? Would this company be the only company you want to utilize? Yes. So whether you're selling real estate, whether you're selling, doesn't matter what you're selling. Would my company be the company that you'd want to do business with? Only company, based on the things you said you needed. Everything that you said was important to you, you can't get with any other company. And there's one thing for sure, Leanne, that you can't get with this company, with any other company but mine. Do you know what that is? That's one of them, right? There's something else though.
Me.
Me. My personal attention from A to Z. You can't get this you factor anywhere else. Wow, that's so cool, man. I'm with you from cradle to grave, baby. Right? In the race for quality, there's no finish line as far as I'm concerned. Your business is my business.
It's basically your interpersonal association.
person will go to. Yeah, I'm the go-to guy.
Gotta avoid the concierge word now, though.
I do, convenience service. Right? I'm a convenience. Not an
I
inconvenience.
got P tattooed on.
That's right. See?
Convenience man.
Yeah, convenience man. Alright, so I'm asking Steve throughout the presentation, what's Glinda? I put a name to Glinda. I made Glinda part of the presentation, did I not?
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the presentation, when I say, Steve, let's get going on this, he goes, well, I need to talk to Glinda. Hey, we already have, haven't we? You've answered for Glinda the entire presentation. Certainly Glinda's going to be okay with a couple bucks here and there. Wouldn't you agree?
I'm sure she would.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. If you spoke out of turn, then you and Glinda can call me together, fair enough? But right now, let's get all this vital information correct.
Okay.
Okay? Well, no, I still have to talk to her. That's bullshit.
Smoke screen.
If he'd have said, I don't know what Glinda would want. I think she may want that. Now we're talking, there might be some what? Validity to needing to talk to Glinda. Right? The $64 million question is, does Glinda know you're on the phone with me today?
No.
Well, it sounds like we're off on the wrong foot already. So you've already shown that you're willing to do something without getting Glinda's permission, is that right?
Correct.
Right? So, bottom line is, Glinda is a guise. Glinda is a scapegoat in this conversation. Is that right? Let's put Glinda out of the picture since you already did. Let's just treat Glinda the way you already have, without giving her any respect at all. You didn't even ask her for permission to call me.
Is my question about necessarily different than the cell phone? I know what you're talking about. I need to be professional or not.
Well, absolutely, but not everybody thinks that way. Keep in mind, all I want to do in the pre-close is to close before closing. I want to get them to show me their card. I've asked you guys, if you were in a poker game, would you be more apt to bet if you knew what the other person was holding? Or would you be more apt to fold if you knew what they were holding? Right? So the same thing in the sales call. They're just showing me a card. That's all they're doing. They're showing me their hand. What hand do I hold? What card do I hold that they want to see? Yeah, solution price, whatever. The price of the solution. Fair enough? What card I'm holding also could come out in the questions they're asking me. Hey, do you guys have a guarantee for theft protection guarantee? They're asking me for what?
A card.
A card. First of all, if someone asked you that, Steve, what would you do? What would you say? Hey man, do you guys have a theft protection guarantee?
Sure do.
Do you
Yes.
have, do you guys use motion detectors, Mark?
Yes, we do, but, I'll get to that a little bit later. Let's get
Okay,
back.
now he's being evasive. Right?
Yes, we do. Is that important to you?
Let's switch it up. Do you have motion detectors? Take the
Sure.
last statement and make it first. Do you have motion detectors?
Is that important to you, John?
Yeah.
Good, then yes, we do have motion detectors.
Who's in control? Somebody asked me, hey man, do you have a theft protection guarantee? I didn't even go through this. I said, man, John, that's a great question. Sympathize. Now I'm going to question. EQPC. Anything I find that is contrary to what I want to hear, I'm going to do an empathy statement. I'm going to question now. Hey, when you say theft protection, where are you getting that at? Where did you hear that? Who's in control now?
You are.
Right. If I said, hey, do you have motions? Is that important to you? Yes, yes, we do. How much are they, Steve?
Well, they're included as part of the system.
Well, how much is that?
We can get to that. You need to
He's
find out what
evasive.
it means.
He's evasive.
I wasn't evasive.
Right? We don't want to be what?
Evasive.
Evasive.
Well, how do you get out of that and back in control?
You don't answer the question. You ask questions with questions. That's how that works. Is that important to you? Yeah, it is. Well, how do you know about motion detectors, Mark? Well, I've had a couple companies out here. Oh, so you've done a lot of who's in control?
Now you're back.
I'm in control. Oh, you've done a lot of research on this, haven't you?
Yes.
Right? So you haven't looked at ADT yet, I presume?
No, I haven't.
No, when we talk about companies, let's say we've only been on the call for 30 seconds. and they start asking me questions. I'm calling an audible now. Based on my experience, I know that if I don't answer those questions or give them some sense of satisfaction or acknowledge them, I'm going to be evasive, and their mind, they're going to go one way or the other. I didn't answer their question, so now they're not attentive at all. Or, what? Flight's kicked in, they're thinking about that only, and they're not thinking about what I'm saying next. Right? That's why I don't answer the question. I ask it with a question. If I ask it with a question, it forces them to stay involved in what? The conversation. Do you take kickbacks, Steve? Do you give out kickbacks and bounties?
I'm not sure what you mean, but did you hear something about that?
No, do you? Does your company pay a bounty for services?
I'm not familiar with that.
So you guys don't?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Now his credibility's shot. Isn't it? Because you don't know. You're not an expert.
You want a kickback?
Now I've got a what?
You got to show your card.
Well, I don't know if I mean, do you offer them?
So who am I talking to?
Anyway, it don't matter. It's just a question. Do you do kickbacks? Don't matter who you're talking to. Do you do kickbacks?
You want a kickback?
I mean, do you offer them?
Is that, I'm hearing that that's important to you. You want a kickback?
Do you guys offer them?
Yes, we offer.
No, I wouldn't answer.
No, you wouldn't? So would you just keep shooting back, or what?
No.
You wouldn't use.
Would you be
the
evasive
rebate?
then at that point?
No.
Okay.
You don't use the rebate, no.
So what would you do at that point?
Well, it's typically you're talking like that.
Yeah,
Because that,
homeowner.
it's a homeowner, you say every day. That's
So they just keep coming back at you.
That's an asshole.
I would say,
Okay, you get where I'm coming from? That's really an affiliate scenario.
that's sort of threw me off, because I was
Mhm.
asking as a homeowner.
That's okay. I know where you're from.
So they're testing you to see if what your ethics are, kind of, in a way? Yeah.
If I did offer a bounty, Mark, would that make me a bad person?
If you're breaking the law.
So what you're saying, if I'm within the law, I'm okay?
Pretty much, yeah.
If I paid you a bounty, would I be within the law?
No, you wouldn't.
So why would you want a bounty?
That's a great question.
So really, you're just
you
asking me.
spoke out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just
Now I have
asking
to
me.
tell you why I was asking. It
Right.
wasn't because of that, since I was trying to learn maybe something about.
I mean, if you're trying to get me to commit to giving you a payout, that's not going to happen here today.
Even if you're talking to like a home inspector,
Yep, absolutely. If they call me out, if it's a legitimate question, Mark handled it properly. Hey, do you do a kickback?
Is that something you're interested in?
If it's legitimate and that's what they're not trying to mess with you,
Yeah.
they're going to say, yeah, I am interested in that. What do you guys do? Have you worked with companies that offered some type of bounty before, Mark? You wouldn't be asking the question had you not been familiar with it. These people don't wake up, bro, and say, you know what, I think I'll ask that question today. You know what, they don't wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to ask them if they have theft protection guarantees. No, they've learned this shit from somewhere. They've read it,
Right,
somebody else has
right.
come in, you know, some other poor sales schmuck has come in and designed a solution for these people and was unpaid. Unpaid consultant. Some unpaid consultant has already, what? Given them some ideas.
information.
Yeah. Professional information giver.
Somebody that couldn't close them.
Right.
The pig. Professional information giver. What's that?
But they could have
The
had
guy
a
that
previous
couldn't
security
close them.
They
system.
could, yeah. They could have. That's why we ask questions.
That's why I didn't know about that.
What's the biggest reason you ask questions? Control and clarification. Make a clarification. I don't answer a question unless I clarify it. Can you think of questions that you would answer that would put you in a pickle or in a situation that you don't want to be in had you not clarified them?
Yes.
Can you name one?
I was trying to think of one in particular.
And give me an example of what the outcome would have been had you not asked the question for clarification.
Were you,
What do you got? that's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, all right. We definitely need to ask questions about
Powertrain warranty.
whatever, right? Oh, that just covers the, if an ant gets in your gas tank. Don't you see that small print there? If an ant gets in your gas tank, you won't want under warranty.
Never know yet.
no, small.
Yeah.
Usually really small.
I didn't mean, I'm being silly. but-
No, those are, I think that's a great,
You gotta
scenario.
ask questions for clarification,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Gotta ask questions for
And
clarification.
you gotta do it in a way that you're not raising the tension, so you're not trying to be a smart ass.
You're not interrogating them.
Right.
Right? It's an actual conversation. So how do you make it conversational? By, using things, verbiage like, would it help you though? Do you see a need for it? Have you considered it? Right? Not just blurting the question out. Having empathy along with the question allows it to be softened and palatable for the customer.
Kinda like, well, that's a good question, John. Is that something that's important to you? Something like that?
That's a great question,
Without being a-
Mark.
without being a
Yeah,
smart ass.
right? Yeah, absolutely. Now, you can't do that over and over again because it's gonna be patronizing and they're gonna say, okay, this guy's been to the questioning clinic, right? Did you just get out of the questioning clinic? Yeah, we did, matter of fact, we had a great meeting this morning, the art of questioning, question-based selling, I mean, it was fantastic, man, I've learned so much shit,
I graduated.
and I'm doing it all on you, right? Question-based kung fu, man, right? Alright, so, the pre-close is what we started with, and we got off on several tangents because what I taught you today was how you could get off on tangents if you don't stop, note it, and what? Isolate it and move on. Do not get caught up. Someone may tell you, hey, it depends on the price. Depends on the price. Yeah, I'll do it. Depends on the price.
Price, the only thing.
No,
that's
no,
important
we're
to
not
me.
handling. So if I make the price right, we'll go ahead and get this guy. Anything besides price, like you said, anything other than price?
Sure.
You're isolating.
Right. We're not gonna get into budgetary stuff here, it's too soon. Here's what's cool. Do you know that out of every 10 customers that you do a pre-close on properly, the objection that they had goes away when the close ends?
Right.
It never comes up again.
It's done right.
And that's not the time to say, hey, I thought you were gonna talk to Glenda about this. No.
No.
Damn it, you're a liar, man. You told me you were not gonna do anything today, and you never make the same day decision.
I
You
can't
always
take your
clear
order.
it through Glenda, and here you go lying to me.
Not taking the order.
Alright, I'm not doing that. Go call, can you call Glenda at least? Can you call her and let her know?
Let her know.
Wait,
Let her know it's a done deal.
Glenda, do that, give that pen back.
Yeah, that's right. Don't touch that. You have any other words, Steve?
Yes.
And why are you lying to me? You said you were gonna talk to Glenda. So Glenda doesn't even exist, does she? Glenda was that poster girl that you were thinking of, wasn't it?
She's
Okay.
in here on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, that's Glenda. That'd be pretty freaky, wouldn't it? Hey, Glenda. You'd be surprised some of the shit I said. No. I had a guy one time, we were in the warm-up and he was all excited that I was there and we were doing some, we were selling, one of those awnings for front of the mobile home. I was like in Centralia, Illinois, and I was like, man, this place, I don't think this is gonna happen, this is a dump. You know, who wants to put a freaking $20,000 awning cover, carport cover basically on a $4,000 home, you know, so I'm in there and he goes, hey, I've been waiting to see you, he talks real funny, and I go, hey, yeah, that's cool, I'm not feeling bad now because I don't know if this guy can even sign a contract, it's even legal, you know, and he had everything new windows, he had all this new shit, the house was falling in, the inside, the floor you could spring on it, it's like one of those gym floors, you can do backflips and shit, and it's springy, you know, it wasn't meant to be that.
Sure.
You know, I think some bugs and shit may have taken root in his flooring. But anyway, I'm sitting there and he's got like 100 cigarettes piled up and all this stuff. He goes, do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? He hands me this thing. I go, it's an ashtray? And he goes, how do you know? How do you know? I go, this reads ashtray.
You had that.
You know, like, oh, so you do see some weird stuff. And I'm going to keep this PG, man, because 7 years of in-home sales, I could give you some stories that would just rock your freaking world.
That we're at.
I'll bet you. Nothing to that extent with me, because I never did anything that screwed up my sale. Now, I can talk to other people about that. We know when the rescission came in. I said, Wally, didn't you go out drinking with that gal the night before, the one you sold? Yeah. Well, here's her cancellation notice. You must have been really bad. wasn't worth the price, man. That big. You know. Never, ever let a customer see your true what? Personality. Unless it's what? Nothing but professional. Right?
Oh.
These guys used to go out and play pool with their customer, residential sales, play pool with them, maybe drinking, cussing, man, you just screwed it up. Now they see a whole different side of you. That professional guy now has gone and screwed up. It's the same thing in the business world. It's like when I go out with these Lombardos and all these people around here that, and out at like Atlanta with these presidents of companies, never do I get involved in the conversation like that. With the F-bombs and the, hey, that gal's hot, isn't she? Each his own. I don't even get involved. What are they trying to do?
Trap you.
Right, customers do the same thing. Right, just stay non-opinionated. That's my advice. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. And it's each of them. Each one. Whatever. As long as they don't bother me.
Talking about that dumping trailer, I went to a dumping house,
Mhm.
and the guy ended up buying $300,000 CDs.